Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you like and subscribe to this very channel. Give me a follow on X at green_Jericho. And give me a follow on Instagram at JGTalk2. All of those links and more will be in the description box. Like and subscribe. So, do you guys not have enough entertainment with streaming services, with cable TV, regular TV, if that even exists anymore, the movie theater, podcasts, documentaries, all kinds of stuff? Is that not enough? Do you need just a little bit more? You need just a little bit more to put you over the hump so your entertainment itch has been scratched. There we go. And when I said itch has been scratched, I thought of the Itchy and Scratchy show on The Simpsons. Fight. Anyway, so do you need just a little bit more to get that entertainment itch scratched? Well, I got it for you. Don't worry. Fret no more. Jericho Green is going to take care of you. Because coming to a podcast near you will be Gavin Bang Your Wife Newsom. Now, I wish that he would have named his podcast Bang Your Wife, because that's what he does. He banged his best friend's wife, but he didn't. But Gavin Newsom is going to have a podcast, and I will put a link to the trailer, the ad, I guess he put out for it, telling you what it's going to be about, what kind of guests he's going to have. And he names 3 or 4 things. He says, what's really going on with Doge? How do tariffs affect the average person? What about these $5 million Trump gold cards? All 4 things that he named were all about Trump. So what does that tell me? That tells me that this podcast is going to be short-lived because it's only based on one thing. It's not versatile. If you're a fan of football, what happens to a team that can only pass the ball or only run the ball? They become one-dimensional. The defense knows that's all they have to worry about, so they don't care about if you're not good at passing. They're not going to care about the pass. They're just going to focus on the run, and vice versa. Same thing. It sounds to me like all of your content, because that's all you talked about, and if not all of it, damn sure most of it is going to be about Trump. One topic. That means you're not going to last long. Plus, is he throwing his hat in the ring for the 2028 presidential campaign? That's going to be in 4 years. Now, do you think this podcast is going to last 4 years? Hell no. He should have named instead of naming the podcast Bang Your Wife, he should have named the podcast A1 Abram, because that shit is going to tank. Are you kidding me? Gavin Newsom, you are one of the most unlike human beings on the planet. You're nipping at Kamala's Franzia, Adderall drunken heels. Are you kidding me? That podcast is going to suck ass. And in the beginning, of course, it's going to have buzz because it's new. It's new and shiny. It's like a toy that you give to a spoiled child. They play with it for 10 minutes, but by the next day, it's on the floor and they're stepping on it. So that's what's going to happen with this bullshit-ass podcast with Gavin Newsom. It'll be hot, probably for a few months. He's going to have guests and shit on there. As I mentioned, he's going to be talking about Trump, triggity Trump. So he's going to probably have some diehard psycho TDS sufferers who will hang with him. But that's not going to be enough to sustain that podcast. What happened to the CNN Plus? That had tens of $millions behind it. Took a shit. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. Now, one thing I am going to look forward to is, and possibly 2 things. One thing for sure, there will be comments. So if he's brave enough to leave the comment section open, you know people are going to be ripping his ass apart for how garbage that podcast is going to be. Now, possibly 2, do you think they might have a call-in segment? Oh, man. If you have a call-in segment, Gavin, it's going to get bad. Did you learn nothing from O.J. Simpson when he was doing the interview with that lady about his book? If I did it, this is how I would have done it. Some shit like that. O.J. Simpson really did write a book like that, by the way. But he went on there, and this was like maybe 06, 07, 08, something like that. And he goes on there and the lady has call-ins. Oh, so you're telling me O.J. Simpson, you're going to take phone calls? And yes, it was the nightmare and the train wreck that you think it was. Check it out. I think one of the callers said, O.J., what were you more impressed with? Rushing for 2,000 yards in one season or slicing 2 throats in one night? People were asking him shit like that. Oh, it's bad. Check that shit out. I might put a link to that in the description box. That video is classic. But I'm firmly in the camp of this podcast is going to suck shit. It's not going to last very long because it's not genuine. It's not real. This is Gavin Newsom you're talking about here. And in those 4 things that you mentioned that have to do with Trump, why? Oh yeah, one of them was, what's up with the price of eggs? Why don't you talk about what's up with the price of taxes in California or the price of our fuel? How come other states pay less for the gas that we refine and send to them, you dick? How about you talk about that? How about you open up how you're running California? How about you talk about how you fucking dropped the ball and fumbled? Now you have to go hat in hand, tail tucked to ask for $40 billion from Congress when you blew $24 billion, you son of a bitch. Why don't you talk about real shit? Now, if he's talking about that podcast will be around forever because people will be interested in that. That's real. But, Trump's bad. Look at all the bad things Trump's are doing. Trump's a bad guy. That's not going to last. That's nothing new. That's not authentic. People don't want to hear that shit. We can go anywhere and hear that. Gavin. Oh, man. If he has a call-in, guys, if there's a call-in option to this podcast that Gavin Bang Your Wife Newsom is going to have, you better believe that I am going to call in and record that shit, because for me to get on a phone call with that satanic cocksucker would be a bucket list item. But what say you? What do you think of this upcoming Gavin Newsom podcast? Will it last or will it fade away? Tell me. That's why I'm meeting you in the comments. I want to hear what you think. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.